Two-year-old boy who is now an orphan after both of his parents were killed. Now, as Megan Alexander reports, the question is, who will raise little Aiden?
An outpouring of love today for Aiden McCarthy, the little boy orphaned in the July 4th massacre.
They were inches away from me.
Natalie Lorenz and her 3 children were sitting beside the McCarthys. Aiden, Mom Irina, and Dad Kevin, watching the parade. That's the McCarthys' plaid blanket.
My kids were sitting on their blanket. We kept being like, guys, that's not your blanket. And that's just the hardest part is like, why them? Why not us? You know, that poor kid. And it's just impossible to make sense of something like that.
This new video shows the terrifying firepower that rained down on the crowd. When the bullets started flying, witnesses say Kevin McCarthy shielded his son with his own body. The 2-year-old survived the hail of bullets that killed his parents. He was scooped up by a total stranger. Dana and Greg Ring were at the parade, and Aiden was literally passed to them.
A woman came down who was covered in blood. She was holding a little boy covered in blood, and she was hysterical. I mean, she was
Physically shaking.
not making sense. So I ran over and I said, you know, are
We
you okay?
pieced together the boy didn't belong to her.
They reached out on social media asking, do you know this child? Adrian Rosenblatt, the McCarthy's neighbor, recognized Aiden and arranged a reunion with his maternal grandparents.
How do you tell an 18-month-old boy that Mommy and Daddy are in heaven now?
Irina McCarthy was 35. She was born in Russia but grew up in Highland Park and met Kevin through her marketing job at a Chicago pharmaceutical company. They were married in 2017. They were crazy about their child, says Irina's heartbroken father, Michael Levberg. They were planning too. Americans are embracing little Aiden. A GoFundMe appeal has already raised more than $2 million for Aiden in just 24 hours. And the money is still pouring in. Aiden will be cared for by his loving family, and he will have a long road ahead to heal, find stability, and ultimately navigate life as an orphan.
And we wish him the very best. Meantime, the parade massacre overshadowed a number of other July 4th weekend mass shootings around the country. The situation is so bad, the mayor of Philadelphia actually said he couldn't wait to leave office. Today, Les Trent asked him about that.
Highland Park was not the only American city ravaged by gunfire over the 4th of July weekend. Nationwide, at least 220 people were killed and 570 wounded. In Chicago, 71 people were shot in 51 separate shootings. In New York City, more than 50 people were shot. And in Philadelphia, a stampede of civilians ran for their lives after gunfire broke out at a 4th of July concert and fireworks show. 2 cops were shot, including Officer Sergio Diggs, who today showed Inside Edition the bandage wrapped around his head after a bullet went through his police hat and grazed his forehead.
It could have very well been, the end of me. So I was very, very grateful and fortunate to be alive.
The shooting happened near the famous steps of the Museum of Art, but it's what happened afterward that's drawing national attention today over what the Philadelphia mayor said about the July 4th shooting. He said he'll be happy when he leaves office.
I'm waiting for something bad to happen all the time, so I'll be happy when I'm not here, when I'm not mayor, and I can enjoy some stuff.
You're looking forward to not being mayor?
Yeah.
You know who should be worried? The people of Philadelphia, because that is your mayor.
Now some are calling for Mayor Jim Kenney's resignation. Today, at a press conference, he walked back his comments, saying he spoke out during an overwhelming moment of frustration.
I'm incredibly grateful to be mayor of the great city and for the people who elected me to lead.
I asked him about his controversial comments.
Why do you regret saying it if that's how you feel?
Well, Matt, first of all, I'm a human being. I get frustrated. As I said in my remarks, I take this job personally. Every homicide, every shooting is a little piece of me torn away.
And in Richmond, Virginia today, authorities announced that they prevented a mass shooting at that city's big July 4th event. The police chief says a Good Samaritan overheard a conversation about an attack and called authorities, which led to the arrest of 2 roommates and the seizure of multiple weapons.